The customer just whispered that the steak was not rare enough, but he actually picked up a piece of raw beef and walked towards him aggressively.
Rare enough for you?
Out of your mind?
Yeah, that's why I'm in here. I'm so sorry.
Not bad.
Oh, that felt so good.
He was just a chef in the restaurant, but even the boss had to act according to his eyes. Katie was the chef of this restaurant. She had a hot temper and was a complete workaholic, but this did not affect the customer's love for him. This was because his culinary skills were excellent. He did everything himself and strived for perfection. His eyes could not tolerate even a single grain of sand. This restaurant became famous throughout the city thanks to him. Despite his success in his career, Katie's life was very rigid and boring. Just after seeing off a guest who specifically asked to see him, he turned around and heard a couple picking on him. So Katie walked up to them calmly and told them,
"There's nothing wrong with it. It's precisely plain.
What is that supposed to mean?
Kung Fu, as it should be. 140 degrees in the oven, 80 degrees water temperature for 25 minutes, not too long, not too short. Perfect touch of pink."
The man heard this and left the restaurant with his girlfriend, cursing and swearing. The boss followed him into the kitchen. Although he was very dissatisfied with his work attitude, he could do nothing about it. In order to help Katie control his explosive temper, the boss specially arranged for a psychologist for him, but Katie's temper remained unchanged. One day, Katie was busy in the kitchen when he suddenly received the tragic news of his sister's death in a car accident. He rushed to the hospital immediately, but only saw his poor niece left alone in the ward. When Annie woke up, she found out that her mother had passed away. She lay on the bed, feeling extremely sad. The stern and old-fashioned Katie also shed a tear of sadness. She stayed at the hospital to take care of the child, but the restaurant could not operate normally without its backbone. As the employees were discussing who would take over Katie's position, Katie appeared in front of everyone with a tired body. He silently put on his work clothes and started his work. The kitchen was fast-paced, with the clanging of utensils constantly ringing out, but in Katie's world, it was silent. He did not know how to face this unspeakable grief. When he saw the note his sister had left for him, he could no longer hold back his inner sadness, and tears gushed out like a flood. The letter was written by his sister before entering the delivery room. She told Katie that if anything happened to her, only she could take care of her child, and only she could love her baby as much as she did. The two sisters were each other's only relatives, and she never thought that her sister would leave her in this way. The boss saw this scene from outside the window and walked into the kitchen, tightly holding Katie's hand. He told Katie that he had to take a mandatory week off to adjust himself. Annie moved in with Katie after being discharged from the hospital, bringing a room full of doll friends. Katie accompanied her every day, even specially prepared a delicate fish dish for her. Annie, however, remained indifferent and seemed uninterested in it. She took a bite and silently returned to her room. After the vacation was over, Katie said goodbye to Annie and hurried to the restaurant. However, as soon as he entered the kitchen, he found a new chef who was playing cheerful music. The employees were following his instructions, singing passionately while working. Katie looked puzzled at the new male chef, and for the first time, he felt that his position was threatened. However, Katie did not know that the appearance of this man would completely change his life. She expressed her dissatisfaction and confusion to the boss, but the boss thought that James was full of energy. He could effectively boost everyone's work enthusiasm, making the kitchen less dull. For this matter, they had a big argument. During dinner, James tried to ease the tension between him and Katie by bringing his own cooked spaghetti to her. Katie told him that she never ate lunch. Dissatisfied with his well-intentioned gesture, James walked up to him and told him that it was specially prepared by his grandmother from his hometown in the air. Katie took a reluctant bite. Katie handed James a list and clearly told him the areas they were responsible for. He did not want to have anything to do with James.